So this is the part of the project where I wish I knew how to use technology better, because I think all of this would be easier if I could just draw the thing that I need to draw and then like scan it into the computer and resize it. But I don't know how to do any of that, and that would take more time away from drawing than I have to give. This thought brought to you by like a very capital A attempt at drawing a fight scene. Because Legend of Sword and Fairy was turn-based combat, and I cannot draw like a full body person. Clothes and all that, it's not within my wheelhouse yet. A thought that did not actually occur to me until I found myself drawing. It looked like a Pokemon battle, just like where they were positioned and how it looked more like a Pokemon battle. Except I can't draw a body, so it was really bad. Y25 is almost at an end, and I don't just mean like in December, I mean like possibly the library I think is closing just at like Christmas, so I don't even have a full month left to get things sorted, but I really would like to keep making these. I would like my drawings to not look that awful. So yeah, there's this one. Please God, let me get one up. But like, I think I might hang back on the other ones just to see how much I can improve before I try and get the next one out. Eventually it would be good to get a whole book out if I could. I might. The one vote that I didn't accidentally cast was for like make a comic book in 2026 but with photos rather than with art. But what I want to do, I think it's going to be a summer thing, which means I could have the Jesus Christ, I could have like the rest of the year to just work on this, like the back half of 2020. Is that a spider? I don't tend to use just one website for names, but there is one that I go to, and it's not there anymore. Instead, we have all of this shit, and that just annoys me so much. So this is a pretty awful way to find names, especially when you're looking at like trying to play with like a historical vibe. There's also like courtesy names. I could just be looking up courtesy names on Wikipedia, But that's... I mean, it might just be easier to... Nope. Okay. One arc. There we go. And then just... It's not a great method, I will admit right off the bat. Yeah, I don't like that. If I were better at Chinese, I could just go into like the Chinese equivalent of Wikipedia. It is, I know what it is, it's actually just escaping my mind right now. And look up like character names from Legend of Sword and Fairy, which is actually probably a nice kind of homage to make. Huh. Not for this guy, I don't think. But, yeah, but I also don't really want to lock myself into Dynasty, is the thing. But this is how you get historical names. It's not as much variety as I would like, but it is less glaringly obvious. I don't actually want a name with Chuan in it. It's just, you put it into Wiki Addicts, and you get what you get. Okay, this is going to be rife with mispronunciations because I'd never really learned like what the third tone is, if it's rising or falling or whatever. So I liked this. I liked Shan because I thought it was very much the opposite of what this guy is. And I thought that contrast might be fun. But I really liked this. I really like the idea of like going for like a name that is also to do with nature, in the sense of like, I feel like when you have like spirits and spirit hunters, like demons or demon hunters, I wanted to like take that and not have them separated in terms of names, if that makes sense. And then this surname came up that I really like, which is also very watery, but this guy is... I did toy around with like Taoist priest for quite a while, but I don't think, for my own satisfaction, I don't know enough about that. But like a wandering swordsman, I feel like this is a very fitting name for that. I don't know how I feel about this anymore. I felt quite good about it originally, but I think I don't know. And obviously I would hope to actually have a better ground to write than this. But I don't know something about it. Just, I'm not happy with it. So in my notes, I always had this listed as like a prologue or like a synopsis, just like something that you come into. Because like at this point, this is the only thing we have. So all of the context that you get is from this. And there is supposed to be a lot of blank spaces, of course, because it's a fake game. But don't know. There's just I don't think that's right. I'm fine with it being a servant rather than the mother. But it could be one of the parents. I think the problem is if it's a servant that implies a certain background that I don't know if I want to go through with. Whereas a parent seems, if I do this the way that I want to, where he isn't like a young nobleman, his parents aren't supposed to be like in the province. So how would... It could also just be a red herring. It could be this is someone who disappeared a while ago. But also I really don't know about the name Lee. I really... In the sense of, if this is someone who is not like the original idea for the protagonist, I kind of like Lee because it works better then as like a nod to Legend of Sword and Fairy. But is that what we're doing? So you're long overdue for an update, and I apologise. I just saw the 24th looming, and then I did the things that I often do with deadlines, and I just shut down. And I wanted to work in it. I really have been enjoying the drawing, and I just could not force myself to. It just wasn't working. I haven't finished the draft yet either, because of all the things to get stuck on. It's the fucking sword. It is the sword. I think I've worked it out now. So the problem is, I think this kind of sword looks better. The one with the curved blade. But the problem is, when I'm trying to do a curved blade, it's too much on both sides, and it just looks like a really shitty sickle. So I've been trying to work with a ruler and trying to like, okay, so it's mostly straight, but let's just like curve the end a little bit, and I don't think that's working for me either. And the hilt is, I don't know how to get the hilt to look not like a piece of shit. The reason I tried so hard to get this done for the 24th is because obviously it would be easier for me, and also a little bit more interesting visually, to have like walked to the library, which is not open for the rest of the year. I don't know if I can scan from the house, is the big problem. But no, the goal is still to like try and get a version of this that I can just scan, even if like the actual scanning takes place in January, which I really hope it doesn't. But okay, so for some time I've had on my to-do list film Y25 bullet points, and I don't know why, and I'm pretty sure I've shown you this before, so I don't know what it is. But here it is. It is, I think, it would work most effective as like a trailer for the Fate game. But yeah, I don't this has nothing to do with the current thing that we're working on, which I'm currently stuck in trying to get this character drawn. Not the one that the Zine is about. The one that is like his contact. So it's introduction, basic character traits, name, age, etc. His sword, some pertinent items, and then like someone that he can talk to, just a little bit of dialogue as well, just to like give you a taste of the game. And like I cannot for the life of me, something has happened and I'm not good at drawing jaws anymore. and they look real weird. This character is supposed to look weird because I'm going for like this is not a human, and therefore is supposed to look very odd in comparison to him, who is. Oh no, the jaw is just like that's not eerie. It's just wrong. Can you believe this? Okay, so this is how we started. And for some reason, with memory, I wanted to write remnants and I had to rub it out. And again, when I go to write memory, I just automatically write remnants, which I think is worthy of note. I'm not going to do anything with it at the moment. I'm not going to change the text. But yeah. Also, I'm really hoping that it doesn't show up. I drew some lines on the paper and then I tried to rub them out almost completely to try and get it straight. And I don't know how well I've done. We'll see. We'll see when it comes to scanning time. So it literally did not pop into my head at all that I've been drawing a single-edged sword. And I think that's possibly the wrong choice, but I don't know how to draw a double-edged sword, and I haven't practiced. So I think I fixed the problem. Well, no, I figured out the problem with the sword, and that is that it looks like a giant ass knife. I've tried like extending the hilt to make it look more proportional, but it just looks like a knife. Like really, like a really zoomed in on knife. Second problem, I can't think of a name. I remember like people talking about like why are Chinese sword types not like more iconic, kind of like the katana, and the longsword and whatever. And the answer that they came to, and I don't even remember the sources at this point, was that swords, legendary swords, are kind of more individual than the type. And for that purpose, I have always kind of thought I need to give the sword a name. Also, because you can't really just have a page with a sword on it. You need a little something else. And the only thing that's coming to mind is Bright Moon, but I don't know if I like that because that sounds a little bit too good. And I can't think of something that doesn't that sounds proper for this guy. One thought was Dark River, which I think is more the name of a show than applicable to a weapon, but also that sounds like a bad guy's weapon. And this guy, he's not that great, but he's also not that bad. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, so this is going to make me sound like a little bit of an idiot, but I didn't realise we had a scanner in the house, and it is scanned. I am a little disappointed that I couldn't figure out how to fill all 8 pages, but I do feel good about what we've got. I think if I were to change things, I would have. No, I don't think that works as like a back page either. Actually, but this is not the end of Y25. It is the end of Y25, as in like it's the end of the year, but it is something that I'm going to continue to work on. I'm going to continue to build the world. We will eventually get something like Vermis published, like an actual paperback at some point. But yeah, I'm hoping to get this up tonight, and it's definitely going in the Discord, put it that way. So if you're not on that, maybe get on that. Yeah, I do actually feel pretty great about this. And I will see you next year for more updates and also the next project, which is going to be a little bit different because there is a good chance that we will be changing what the project is in February, because if I'm going to do this, I'm going to need actors, and that might be too expensive. So yeah, thanks for sticking around for this. Very excited to see where we'll go next. Thank you for watching.